You finish your business in the bathroom, you stand up to flush, and you notice something strange. It's not just yellow liquid. It looks like someone poured a bit of beer into the bowl. There is a layer of white foam floating on top. You flush, but the foam lingers. You think maybe it's just the speed of the stream. Maybe it's just the toilet cleaner, so you ignore it. You go about your day, but then it happens again the next morning. And the next. If this sounds familiar, I need you to listen very carefully. That foam is not an accident. It is a biological distress signal. It is your body waving a red flag, saying that the microscopic filters inside your body are under attack. Ignoring this sign is one of the biggest mistakes I see seniors make, and by the time they come to see a doctor, the damage is often much harder to reverse. But here is the good news. If you catch this early, there are simple, natural, and immediate steps you can take to stop the leak and protect your kidneys. Today we are going to walk through exactly what that foam means, how to test it right at home, and the specific changes you need to make to your routine starting today. Let's get right into it. First, we have to make a very important distinction. We need to clear up the confusion between bubbles and foam. This is the first question I ask any patient who comes to me with this concern. Think about when you pour water into a glass very quickly from a high height. What happens? You get bubbles. Big, clear bubbles that pop and disappear within a few seconds. That is simply trapped air. It is physics. If your urine stream is strong, or if you really had to go and there is a lot of pressure, you will see bubbles. However, foam is different. Foam is white, it is thick, it looks like the head on a draft beer or beaten egg whites, and most importantly, it does not pop immediately. If you flush the toilet and you still see white residue clinging to the sides of the bowl, that is not air bubbles, that is substance. What is that substance? It is protein. Specifically, a protein called albumin. Now, why is protein in your toilet bowl? This brings us to the most critical concept you need to understand about your kidneys. I want you to imagine your kidneys are like a kitchen sieve or a strainer. You know, the kind you use to drain pasta. When you pour the pot of boiling pasta water into the sink, the water goes through the holes, but the pasta stays in the strainer. Why? Because the pasta is too big to fit through the mesh. Your kidneys work the exact same way. Inside your kidneys there are millions of tiny filters called glomeruli. Their job is to keep the good stuff, like red blood cells and protein, inside your blood, while letting the waste, like extra fluid and toxins, pass through into your urine. Protein molecules are big. They are the pasta. They should not fit through the holes of the filter. They should stay in your blood where they are needed to build muscle and repair tissues. But if you are seeing foam, it means the holes in your strainer have gotten too big. Or the strainer has been damaged. The pasta is slipping through the mesh and falling into the sink. That is what we call proteinuria. The foam is literally your body losing its essential building blocks. Before you panic, I want to give you a very simple, at-home flush test you can do tomorrow morning. I want you to urinate into the bowl, but do not flush immediately. Wait. Give it about 60 seconds. If the bubbles are just air, they will mostly disappear in that time. If it is foam caused by protein, it will still be there after a minute. If you are finding these tips helpful for your health and you want to stay ahead of these silent symptoms, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss our next guide on aging backwards. It is the best way to make sure you get this information every week. Now let's talk about why your filter might be broken. This is where we have to be honest about our lifestyle and our medical history. One of the most common reasons for foamy urine in seniors is actually not kidney failure. It is a warning sign of dehydration. And this is tricky because as we get older, our sense of thirst actually fades. You might be dehydrated right now and not even feel thirsty. When you don't drink enough water, your urine becomes highly concentrated. Think of it like making a smoothie. If you don't add enough water, it gets thick and sludgy. When your urine is that concentrated, any small amount of natural chemicals can bubble up and look like foam. So here is your first experiment. If you see foam, I want you to drink 2 full glasses of water. Wait a couple of hours until you need to go again. Is the foam still there? If the foam is gone, your kidneys are likely fine. You were just dry. You need to increase your fluid intake. But what if the foam stays? This brings us to the 2 biggest enemies of your kidneys. If you have been following this channel, you know what I'm going to say. high blood pressure and high blood sugar. Let's start with high blood pressure or hypertension. This is the silent killer of kidneys. Remember that kitchen strainer we talked about? Imagine if you hooked that strainer up to a fire hose turned on full blast. The pressure of the water would be so strong that it would eventually bend the mesh or break the wire, right? That is what high blood pressure does to the delicate filters in your kidneys. It hammers them, day in and day out, until they start to scar and widen. Once they widen, the protein leaks out, and you see foam. Then we have high blood sugar or diabetes. This is even more common. Sugar in your blood is sticky. Think of it like syrup. When your blood is thick and syrupy with sugar, it gums up the works. It causes inflammation in those filters. Over time, the high sugar levels act like shards of glass, nicking and cutting the filters, creating holes where protein can escape. If you are diabetic or pre-diabetic and you see foam, this is your body screaming that your blood sugar management needs to change immediately. It means the kidneys are under stress right now. Before we move to the next step, if you found this specific explanation about the kitchen strainer helpful, you can support our research team directly by clicking the Super Thanks heart button below the video. It helps us continue making these free guides for you. Now let's talk about something that often gets overlooked, specifically for the gentleman watching. Sometimes foamy urine isn't about the kidneys at all. It can be related to the prostate or bladder issues. There is a condition called retrograde ejaculation. I know it's a medical term, but it's simple. It means that when a man ejaculates, the fluid goes backward into the bladder instead of out. When you urinate later, that fluid comes out, and it can look very foamy or cloudy. This is more common if you are taking medication for an enlarged prostate or if you have had prostate surgery. If you are a man taking alpha blockers for your prostate and you see foam, this might be the cause. It is usually not dangerous, but it is worth mentioning to your doctor so they know what is happening. And for the ladies and men too, we have to look at infections. A urinary tract infection, or UTI, can cause foamy urine. Bacteria release gas, and the infection brings white blood cells into the urine. This mixture can create a cloudy, foamy appearance. Usually, if it is an infection, you will have other signs. Burning when you go, a frequent urge to go, or perhaps a strange smell. But in seniors, sometimes the classic symptoms don't show up. Sometimes the only sign of a low-grade infection is that change in the toilet bowl. So we have identified the problem. We know it might be the filter leaking protein. We know it could be dehydration, pressure, or sugar. Now, what do you eat that makes this worse? There is one food group that acts like fuel on the fire for foamy urine, and that is animal protein. I am talking about red meat, processed meats, sausages, and heavy steaks. When you eat a large amount of animal protein, your body breaks it down into acid and waste products that the kidneys have to filter out. This is called hyperfiltration. Basically, you are asking your kidneys to work overtime. If your kidneys are already struggling, eating a giant steak is like asking a runner with a sprained ankle to run a marathon. It puts immense stress on the organ. This doesn't mean you can never eat meat again, but if you are noticing foam, try a simple swap. For 1 week, trade your red meat for plant-based proteins or lighter options. Try lentils, beans, fish, or egg whites. See if the foam reduces. Many of my patients are shocked to see that simply cutting back on red meat for dinner reduces the foam in the morning. Another dietary culprit is salt. Sodium. Salt holds onto water. It increases the volume of blood in your veins, which raises your blood pressure. Remember the fire hose? Eating salty foods cranks up the pressure on that hose. If you are eating canned soups, frozen dinners, or deli meats, you are flooding your system with salt. Your kidneys have to work desperately to flush that salt out. If you stop the salt, you lower the pressure, and you give the filters a chance to heal. Now I want to address a very specific concern that many of you have asked me about: painkillers. As we age, we get aches and pains. Knees hurt, backs hurt. It is natural to reach for the ibuprofen, the naproxen, the NSAIDs. These are the anti-inflammatory drugs you buy over the counter. We think they are safe because they are sold without a prescription. But for your kidneys, these can be poison. NSAIDs reduce blood flow to the kidneys. They constrict the blood vessels. If you take them every single day for arthritis, you are slowly starving your kidneys of oxygen. This can lead to kidney damage and, you guessed it, foamy urine. If you are seeing foam and you are taking these pills daily, stop. Talk to your doctor about alternatives like acetaminophen or topical creams that don't pass through the kidneys in the same way. This one change alone can save your kidney function. So let's say you have done the observation. You see the foam. You know it's not just bubbles. You have tried drinking more water, and it hasn't gone away. What is the next medical step? You need to go to your doctor, but you need to ask for the right tests. Don't just go in and say, I have foamy urine. You want to be specific. You want to act like an empowered patient. There are 2 specific numbers you need to know. Write these down. Number 1 is your GFR. That stands for glomerular filtration rate. This number tells you how well your kidneys are filtering your blood. It is like a percentage. If your GFR is 90, your kidneys are working at 90%. If it is 60, they are at 60%. You want to know this number. Number 2, and this is the most important one for foam, is the UACR. That stands for urine albumin to creatinine ratio. That is a mouthful, I know. But basically, this test measures exactly how much protein is leaking into your urine. A standard dipstick test, the one where they dip the little strip of paper in the cup, sometimes misses low levels of protein. The UACR is much more sensitive. It detects the leak early. If your doctor sees that you have protein in your urine, do not lose hope. This is not a death sentence, it is a management situation. We have medications today that are incredible at stopping this leak. There are drugs called ACE inhibitors, or ARBs. You might know them as the blood pressure pills ending in pril or sartan, like lisinopril or losartan. Even if you don't have high blood pressure, doctors sometimes prescribe these specifically to protect the kidneys. They work by relaxing the blood vessels in the kidneys. They turn down the pressure of that fire hose. This allows the filter to heal and stops the protein from being pushed out. Now I want to transition into an actionable plan. We have talked about the problems. Let's talk about the solution. I want to give you a 5-step protocol to follow starting right now. Step 1. The hydration baseline. For the next 3 days, I want you to be very conscious of your water intake. Don't drown yourself, but aim for steady hydration throughout the day. Check your urine color. It should be pale yellow like straw. If it is dark orange or apple juice color, you are not drinking enough. Get your hydration right and see if the foam persists. Step 2. The salt audit. Go to your pantry. Look at the labels of the foods you eat most often. Look for sodium. If a single serving has more than 400 milligrams of sodium, put it back. Try to keep your total sodium under 2,000 milligrams a day. That is less than 1 teaspoon of salt for the whole day. It is hard at first, but your taste buds will adjust in about 2 weeks. Step 3. The protein shift. We mentioned this earlier, but let's make it concrete. If you eat meat 3 times a day, cut it down to 1. Have oatmeal for breakfast. Have a salad with beans or chickpeas for lunch. Save the chicken or fish for dinner. Give your kidneys a break for 16 hours of the day. Step 4. Control the sugar. If you are diabetic, check your numbers. Are you consistently high in the mornings? If your blood sugar is spiking, your kidneys are bleeding protein. Work with your doctor to get that A1C number down. Often, when blood sugar comes under control, the foam disappears because the inflammation in the filter goes down. Step 5. The flush check. Monitor your progress, but don't become obsessive. Check the bowl once a week, not every time you go. Stress is also bad for your health. Look for trends. Is there less foam than last week? Is it clearing up faster? That is progress. I also want to touch on a lifestyle factor that helps your kidneys that nobody talks about. Sleep. Your body does its repair work when you are sleeping. If you're getting poor sleep, or if you have sleep apnea, where you stop breathing in the night, your kidneys suffer. Sleep apnea causes huge spikes in blood pressure while you dream. This creates pressure waves that hit the kidneys. Many people treat their sleep apnea and find their kidney function improves. So if you snore heavily, getting that checked is part of saving your kidneys. Let's talk about supplements for a moment. I know many of you love natural remedies. Is there anything natural that helps? There are some antioxidants that show promise in supporting kidney health. Turmeric, for example, is a powerful anti-inflammatory. Since kidney damage is often caused by inflammation, incorporating turmeric into your diet can be helpful. Berry extracts, like cranberry or blueberry, are full of antioxidants that protect the blood vessels, and nettle tea has been used for centuries as a gentle kidney tonic. However, a huge warning here. Do not take high doses of vitamin C or potassium supplements without talking to your doctor. High doses of vitamin C can cause kidney stones, and if your kidneys are already weak, they might struggle to process extra potassium. Always food first, supplements second. I want to share a quick story about a patient of mine. Let's call him Robert. Robert was 68. He came in panicked because he saw foam. He was convinced he was going on dialysis. We ran the tests. His blood pressure was high, 150/90. He was eating ham sandwiches for lunch every day and bacon on weekends. He wasn't drinking water because he didn't want to get up at night to pee. We didn't put him on dialysis. We put him on a mild blood pressure medication. We swapped the ham for turkey and then for hummus. He started drinking water earlier in the day, so he wouldn't be up all night. 6 months later, the foam was gone. His kidney function numbers stabilized. He is 75 now, and his kidneys are working just fine. I tell you this because I want you to know that foam is a signal, not a sentence. It is your body treating you like a friend, giving you a heads up before the bridge collapses. So next time you go to the bathroom, take a look. If you see that foam, don't just flush it away and forget it. Remember the strainer. Remember the fire hose. Make the appointment. Drink the water. Put down the salt shaker. Your kidneys work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, cleaning your blood, balancing your fluids, and keeping you alive. They never take a vacation. The least we can do is give them a little bit of help. If you have experienced this, or if you have questions about other symptoms you are seeing, leave a comment down below. I read them, and it helps me know what you are worried about so I can make videos that actually help you. Remember, aging isn't about getting weaker. It's about getting smarter with how we handle our bodies. You have the knowledge now. You have the power to change your health. Take care of your kidneys and they will take care of you. I'll see you in the next video.